The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The moves.
B plus.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for the NXT Edition. Joining me, of course, Danders, Danderfield. How are you, Danders?
I'm living large and in charge. I'm back again. I've watched one hour of wrestling this week, and I'm ready to talk about it.
1 hour.
Yeah, I'm the Iron Man of watching wrestling.
So I take this to mean that you did not watch NXT UK, and you have failed me once again.
As long as there are no follow-up questions, yes.
Disappointed. On NXT UK this week, Xia Brookside and Isla Dawn had a match with Ginny and Jazzy. Jazzy dominates and picks up the win. I'm just going to read my notes here because if we can't have a conversation about this, it's just pointless and I don't know what to do and you've let the team down, but I love you. Let's get through it. El Ligero has a video promo about overcoming anxiety and shyness by working with a mask. Right? And so as soon as they do this with the character, I'm like, he's going to lose the mask. Right?
Potentially. Remember that time? This is the only thing I can relate to is WWE stuff. When like the Hurricane and Kane were a tag team. Do you remember when they were a tag team? And
yes, Hurricane. Yes.
Yes. And someone tried to rip off Kane's mask. And this was when Kane was like quite face. This was going into Katie Vick. Ugh. And
wow.
yeah. And yeah, he was like, it nearly cost them the tag belts because they were the tag champs at the time. And Hurricane was like, why did you need to run away? He's like, what? He's like, he took my mask. He's like, what are you, Spider-Man? Like, yeah, that's what I can think of. Good talk. Keep going with this.
So yeah, I just feel like he's going to lose his mask because as soon as you set up that, you know, without the mask is what helped him overcome anxiety and shyness. You take the mask away, he has to overcome that all over again. I think it's pretty cool. I think that's the way they're going to go with it. Makes sense to me anyway. Then Kenny Williams says something. Kenny Williams has a very thick accent of some kind and he's talking about Noam Dar being a bit of a pellet, I think is what he said. And that he's hoping to be lucky next week against Cassius Ohno. Why would you say you need luck? That's a bad promo. You don't need luck to defeat Cassius Ohno. You are skillful. That is how you defeat Cassius Ohno. Anyway, Ilya Dragunov wins, lol, in a match against Joseph Connors. Tony Storm says Kaylee Ray knows where to find her. Travis Banks has a video package hyping him up for his big match against Volta. And the Hunt come out of like the office and they're like, Gallus, we're coming for you next week. So I guess Gallus are the next prey for the Hunt. Makes perfect sense. I'm looking forward to that match. There are some characters on NXT UK now that I'm starting to get into. One of those is, of course, Imperium. So that's the group featuring Volta. You'll know some of these names. Volta, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Bartel.
I know Volta.
Well, you know Eichner and Bartel. They tag in NXT sometimes.
I know Jimmy
The European
Bartel.
Union?
I know Jimmy Bartel. He's an
Jimmy Bartel?
He's a Geelong football player.
Standards.
Three-time premiership
Three
player.
slits?
3 times.
3 slits, 3 time? Everything comes back to MCW when you're on the show.
I know. We're going for 4 times 4 slits. What the 4 slits?
Yes. We want it. I want him to become 17 times champions.
I know he's listening, so the people want 4 slits. By the people, I mean me and Greg.
We want 4 slits. We
the people want 4 slits.
We the people. So Imperium, those 3 gentlemen, it's sort of a retooling of Ringkampf, which was their stable, Volta's stable on the Indies. They took on British Strong Style in a 6-man tag match, and the match ended when Alexander Wolf. You remember Alexander Wolf?
Sure.
He was from Sanity.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah. Alexander Wolf jumps in the match and power bombs Tyler Bate like out of nowhere when the ref's back is turned, and Imperium get the win. And then he's like standing on the outside of the ring, and they do their whole ring general poses with their arms behind their back like Volta does, and he gets in the ring and he stands next to him and does it too. And it's like, oh, there's 4 people in Imperium now. The power of balance has shifted. The balance of power. I said that wrong. It's late. I'm tired. It's been a week. So yeah, Imperium have an extra man now in Alexander Wolf.
Ah, sick.
Very white supremacist, this group.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, I know that Kampf is German for struggle, but there is a very well-known piece of text with the word Kampf in it. And I don't think that you want to be using that.
Well, they were Ringkampf on the indies, but here they're called Imperium.
Yeah.
So it's very different.
I think that you want to avoid the word Kampf. Just personally, it makes me think of one thing.
Well, Volta, their leader, is Austrian.
So was Hitler.
Yes, I know. And Alexander Wolf is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German.
Yes.
As I said, it's very white supremacist. It's amazing. They're going to be fantastic heels because, you want to be a heel in the UK, be a Nazi, right?
I just feel like when you're going for the heelest of heels, even for the biggest heats, the hottest of heats, don't go Islam terrorist and don't go Nazi. It's just, in my opinion, I feel like there's a broad range that you can go that doesn't involve Nazis and awful stereotypes about people of Islamic faith.
Yeah. No, look, I agree with you, but it's Ring Camp. People are excited because of the wrestlers, and it's just interesting to see. But I do think it feels like every British movie ever, where the Nazis are the villains, no matter what the plot is of the movie. It's just weird.
You mean the Germans are the villains? They don't even have to be Nazis. They could just be Germans, and they're like,
that's true.
For example, Die Hard.
Yes. Yeah. Not a confirmed Nazi, just a German. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought we moved on. Aren't the Russians the bad guys now?
Look, I feel like when you kill like 12 million people, actually Russians kill way more than that. So did the Chinese and the Japanese.
There have been so many genocides that are worse. Look, this sounds bad. There have been so many genocides that are higher in number than that of the Holocaust. But no genocide is good. Let's put that out there.
Let's finish on that note on this topic.
Yeah,
no genocide
is good. Before conspiracy Greg comes out. No. Moving on to the NXT you've seen. Yeah.
Yes.
Io Shirai and Candice LeRae kick off the show, taking on Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir. I liked the team of Shirai and Candice because it gave Shirai the ability to be sort of the heater. Like Candice took the beating, and Shirai comes in as the hot tag and as the the powerhouse of the team. I really liked it. Yeah,
and I think it's good to see finally we're seeing Candice LeRae as a wrestler as opposed to Johnny's girlfriend.
Johnny's wife. Yes.
Yeah, Johnny's wife. My apologies.
Oh, man. Yeah, she's Candice wrestling, but that's because she can wrestle. It's not because she's married to Johnny wrestling.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think that they can have like the same nickname. They don't need to be the same person or like a subset of the same people.
They don't need to be involved in each other's stories all the time. I'd almost prefer it when one of them gets beaten down not to have the other come out and check on them, because it's like, no, they're professionals that can handle this. You know?
Only like if that's like only in like a really extreme circumstances once in a blue moon, sure.
Yeah. I've been very vocal about not liking the way they've treated Candice LeRae over the years, but it's good to see her actually being her own feature here, which is really nice. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir have come a long way very quickly as well, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably, I would even say, this is controversial, but they've picked it up quicker than Ronda has.
I think they've picked up the character work a lot quicker than Ronda. I don't know if Ronda ever really picked up the character work, to be honest.
She's just Ronda.
Yeah.
She only ever has to be Ronda. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I really want them to, if they want Baszler to be like a legitimate threat, they need to start distancing themselves from each other, in my opinion.
The Four Horsewomen?
Yeah, like in terms of getting involved in each other's matches, I'm over that.
Right. Well, I think the thing is, though, Shayna doesn't need them to, because they didn't interfere. They tried to interfere at TakeOver, but they were unsuccessful because Candice stopped them.
Yeah.
And Shayna just won the match anyway.
Yeah, so I think that it's time to, like, remove that sort of, make them their own thing as opposed to Shayna's henchmen.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that. Ultimately, the match became a no contest after Shirai got in and like copied Shayna Baszler's arm stomp, which I thought was brilliant because we're seeing this new side of Io Shirai, right? Where she's just vicious.
Yep.
She's like, I need to be vicious to beat you, so I'm going to be vicious.
Yep.
And so she copied the arm stomp, which I popped for hard. And Baszler on the outside watching, she sells it so well, right? Like I believed that she wanted to kill her for doing that. Like you can't do that. I do that.
Yep, loved it.
Yeah, and so she comes in and pulls Jessamine out to save her from the moonsault, but then Io hits her with the moonsault on the outside. Everything breaks down. We get a no contest, and they fight to the back. They could still be fighting today, Danders.
Maybe they're going for the 24/7 championship. Who knows?
Yeah. R-Truth just wanders into their still going fight and ends up getting pinned somehow.
Yep.
I'd be down for that, to be honest.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Then we get a Velveteen Dream promo about being beautiful, solid, and able to go all night.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's all it was. There was no other point. He wasn't selling anything other than the stuff that he's other than the point that he's a stallion.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you, I guess. Dream over.
I was like, yeah. Well, I felt a little bit uncomfortable watching it, but like in a good way. Like uncomfortable in a good way.
Yeah. Well, of course, we thought he was talking about the belt, and he's like, "But I'm not talking about the belt." And it's like, it reminded me. Have you ever watched Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's a musical that happened during the writers' strike in like 2008 or 2009. It's like a YouTube thing that ended up becoming like a DVD. But it's Neil Patrick Harris as like this evil guy. And the superhero in it was, what's his name? Nathan Fillion, right?
Yep.
And he's Captain Hammer, and he's talking about using the hammer, and then he comes back and he's like, the hammer is my penis.
Oh,
right. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, this reminded me of that in the best possible way.
All right.
Anyway,
that's a niche reference, but we'll move on.
I'm a geek.
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on. Kushida and Gulak. Now, submission match. This is a rematch from a couple weeks ago, and they did a submission match this time. Fantastic match. I gave this one 4 stars on the Grapple app.
Oh, I
really
need to
like
be using the Grapple app, don't I? I've signed up.
You do need to use the Grapple app. I follow you, and I checked you today. I was like, she didn't watch NXT. She hasn't rated any of these matches.
Oh.
That's okay. I haven't put my NXT ratings in yet either.
Okay. All right. Well, can you just tell me what I rate them? Because I don't remember. I know.
This is why you got to have Grapple open while you watch NXT. Grapple, of course, ladies and gentlemen, our new friends over at Grapple in the UK, they've released an app that allows you to rate matches. So instead of just relying on Meltzer's ratings now, we get to community rate. Like Rotten Tomatoes is for films. Grapple is for wrestling matches. So you can go in and you can check what people have rated different matches. And our very own Australian Wrestling PWA has made it in. Danders won't be happy about MCW not being in there yet, but one thing at a time. We're getting there. For now, we've got PWA in there. So you can get on there. You can rate the latest PWA Green Label show. Of course, the Jessica Troy show, All Eyes on Troy, which happened last night. As you listen to this, you can go on and rate that as well. And Grapple. Get around it.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
The lion does not concern themselves with the opinion of sheep.
No, but Dan, the sheep want to know what you think of the matches. That's the point.
Duh.
Yeah, so you got to get on there and rate them. But yeah, Kushida and Gulak, submission match. What did you think of this one?
I don't know a whole lot about these two people, just because I'm not fully up to date with like all of the people and the things. But as a visual thing, I was going to say visual masterpiece. And then I was going to say this was a masterpiece. This felt like it should have been a takeover match. I found it very enjoyable to watch. There was a lot of, I don't know, it just built really nicely, for lack of better terming.
No, it definitely could have fit a takeover, for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like it was a really strong performance by both performers.
They're two of the best in the world.
Best
and the style they did. Yeah. Okay, Shane. No, but the way they trade holds, the way they were trading holds, and just their transitions, they're so smooth watching these guys. They're so smooth. Kushida picks up the win with the hoverboard lock this time. So that's the second time he's defeated Gulak. You got to think that Gulak will head back to 205 Live now, but this was a great match. And afterwards they shook hands. Gulak sort of teased like he wasn't going to.
Yeah, no, this was really good. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on, we have Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah. These are the ones I was talking about the other week when we couldn't remember their names. You don't remember the conversation, do you?
No, and I don't have this in my notes either.
Okay. Well, basically, they're cutting one of those video promos out in the parking lot, and they're saying that they deserve a title opportunity more than Mia Yim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the head baddie in charge, or whatever she calls herself, Mia Yim, and they're like, they brought her some books, right? And they brought her, it was a little racist because they brought her English 101, and they brought her like grammar, a book on grammar and stuff. They're like, have you read her tweets? It's awful. It's like, yeah, English is her second language, guys.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a strong believer of if English is if you don't speak a second language, do not judge people who have English as their second language.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, look, there are a lot of people in Australia's weird. We have like the least bilingual population anywhere. America are actually better than us because they have a lot of people there that speak like Spanish and stuff as well.
I think it's harder pushed in schools as well. Like,
yeah,
for me in high school, you had the choice up until, you had to do language up until I think it was year 9.
Yeah.
And then you had to drop it. Whereas I think in the US it generally is, especially with Spanish, because a lot of like jobs require you to speak Spanish, especially if you're going to work in hospitality or retail. You pretty much need to learn Spanish.
Yes. And the lazy folk don't want to, and that's why Trump is going to build a wall or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. American politics.
Bless.
Anyway, so they, I guess Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah are pro-Trump is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. So they're just doing the mean girl bit, picking on Mia Yim, and we're presumably going to see a match between them at some point. Then we get a recap video of Mansoor winning the Battle Royale at Super Showdown. Yawn. I didn't want to see this. I didn't watch Super Showdown for a reason. Why are you showing me this again?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Awful. So then we have the main event of Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch.
Yeah, in my notes, I'm like, I don't have him against Undisputed Era. I have him against Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. What are you talking about, Greg? Like, derf.
Yes. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong would be Undisputed Era.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Yeah.
I'm a bit over this, to be honest. I'm a bit over Undisputed Era at the moment, with the exception of Adam Cole, baby. I'm a bit over them. I feel like they've been really saturated. And yeah, a bit over it. So this was okay.
Fair enough.
To me, this was
enough.
okay.
But like bell to bell, they're amazing though.
Yeah, like they put on really good matches, but
yeah. But you're just not invested in the characters.
Not really.
I can get behind that. I can see that. And same with Lorcan and Burch, really nothing huge. But Jackson Riker shows up and interferes. Leading to, another no contest. Oh no, they actually got the win, didn't they? Because Undisputed Era got distracted, and so Oney Lorcan took advantage and pushed one of them out and got the win on the other.
Correct.
But it was like it doesn't count as a finish when Jackson Riker interfered.
Yeah.
So, awkward times to like when you're having like two of the three matches are ending in screwy finishes. It doesn't feel like an NXT episode.
No, it just felt like a very odd way to finish the show.
Yeah, definitely. And I know they're like setting up stories and whatnot, but it just didn't feel very NXT. It kind of bummed me out.
Yeah.
Something that does feel NXT though is renaming people. Have you gotten across this stuff in the news?
I know Jonah Rock. He is Bronson someone.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah. This brought two things to my mind. Bronson from Round the Twist. That was the first one. And the other one wasn't there a guy Bronson Matthews?
No idea. I believe the name is being taken from Charles Bronson, who was like the baddest prisoner in the UK ever, kind of thing. And
Charles Bronson.
I think that's what
Charles Bronson is the actor, and they take him off in The Simpsons. Charles Bronson in Death Wish 9. I wish I was dead.
Okay, no, but if I Google Charles Bronson prisoner, Charles Arthur Salvador, better known as Charles Bronson, is an English criminal who has been referred to in the British press as the most violent prisoner in British history.
But if you Google just Charles Bronson, it's the Death Wish guy.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
how's about some?
I believe that it was taken from this person. This is what I've been told. It was from this person and also Mark Chopper Reed. So I think they're going for like a criminal thug vibe.
Yeah, it just made me think of Bronson Matthews. I knew him from Tough Enough. He's not Tough Enough. Maybe he wasn't Tough Enough. He wasn't Tough Enough, and also whatever the NXT Breaking Ground, which I fucking love. WWE, bring back Breaking Ground.
Breaking Ground was fantastic. I definitely want that to come back.
Yep, and his name was Bronson Matthews, and he was like the Yeti, and former NFL player. But yeah, that's what I thought of. But yeah, I mean, all the names, when you're so used to something like Jonah, to me will always be Jonah. Like I keep calling Evie. What's Evie's name? Dakota Kai. I still call her Evie. Change is hard. It's hard to
I still call Rhea Ripley Demi sometimes.
Yeah.
Because that's what she was when I saw her here locally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So change is hard.
They've changed Jonah Rox. So Jonah Rox changed his name to Bronson Reed. We also had ACH has been renamed Jordan Miles. Trevor Lee has been renamed Cameron Grimes. Shane Strickland is now Isaiah Scott. Samuel Shaw is Dexter Loomis. Garza Jr. is Angel Garza. Not too much of a change there for him.
Mm.
And this is my favorite one. DJZ is Joaquin Wild.
Yeah, cool.
like, okay. And everyone was like, why are they naming all these people? Now, this is a little bit of spoilers from the tapings, but they're doing a NXT breakout tournament, right? And that's why these guys have all gotten names, because they're all coming onto TV in the coming weeks, which means we're getting Jonah Rock on
really
NXT TV.
That's really fucking exciting.
Yeah, in tournament action. And his first matchup is going to be against Samuel Shaw, now known as Dexter Loomis. And those are two big boys. And it's going to be very fun. So I'm really, really amped for the next couple of weeks of NXT, because I want to see some fucking Jonah Rock on my TV. I'm very excited for this. Did you see what Elliot Sexton changed his name to?
I don't remember what it was, but it popped me huge. It was very dumb.
I believe it was Barnabas Humphreys.
Yeah, love it. And you know what? I would get behind that if that was his name and he came out like a Blue Blood style.
Dude, he could pull it off.
Yeah.
He could actually pull it off just with his like trophy life idiotic arrogance.
Yeah.
It would work so fucking well. So that's the reason behind all the name changes, because I've had a few people be like, why is everyone changing their names? It's like, well, it's NXT. But they don't change everyone's name, right? Like Kushida got to keep his name. You know,
pretty much, if you're big enough on the indie scene.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you could make arguments for that some of these guys are big enough. Shane Strickland was pretty big. Jonah Rock was pretty big. Like PWG, Bowler, you know, I don't know. It's a little weird that they didn't get to keep their names, but as well, people
a casual, like Adam Cole, for one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch New Japan or Ring of Honor, and I knew who he was. I knew the name. I don't think that many people outside, like casual people outside of Australia, would know who Jonah Rock is.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fair call. But that's why they got renamed, people. They got renamed because there's an NXT breakout tournament. So Jonah Rock is coming to TV. No word yet on whether he will have Stokely Hathaway, whose new name I cannot remember. I don't know if he's going to be his manager on TV, but he's been his manager on the Loop, so you got to assume he will. So we can look forward to seeing Bronson Reed, Jonah Rock, on our TV soon, which is pretty awesome and a good place to leave it. Nice short episode of the NXT edition there. Danders, where can people find you if they want to pay you for existing?
To help pay my rent and to see me naked, go to patreon.com/Rachel Danderfield. If you just want to see me naked for free, Instagram.com/Rachel Danderfield. Well, just at Rachel Danderfield. Why am I doing the link? Twitter is at Danderfield if you want to see me sassy but fully clothed. And
presumably.
And
people could imagine that you're tweeting these things naked.
Yeah, and if you want a swift flick of the band hammer, try adding me on Facebook, because I will not accept you. We're not friends.
But you will accept their money.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And we will accept your money at patreon.com/theb+. Guys, we don't have far to go to catch up to Danders. Let's just...
It's not
imagine us naked.
It's not a competition.
Imagine us naked. It is a competition. I spend hours and hours a day on this. And if you want to support us, you can do that at patreon.com/theb+. We give you cool stuff as a reward.
And I promise to do
nudes.
The call-in shows. I promise to do them naked. But you can't do anything.
There we go. Well, maybe we'll introduce a video element. No, we won't. We won't do that. That's never going to happen here. Anyway,
where can we find you,
we
Greg?
are the B+ Wrestling on Twitter, the B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. Thank you so much for listening.